Hello and welcome to The Lawless Way, talks based on the book called The Lawless Way by Philip J. Bradbury, who is me. I'm Philip J. Bradbury. And today we'd like to talk about the fact that the answers to life, the answers to the meaning of life, have changed and are changing, and they're not etched in stone or concrete or anything. They are changing. So go back to 1942 when Albert Einstein was teaching physics at Cambridge University in London. And on one October day, he and a colleague were exercising outside in the quadrangle while the students were inside sitting an exam that Einstein had set. And Einstein's colleague was very upset, most perturbed, and was telling Einstein, he said, "This exam that your students are sitting," he said, "it's exactly the same questions that you gave them last year or gave your students last year." And Einstein said, "Yes, the questions are exactly the same, but this year the answers are different." And that is how life is. The answers are changing. The answers are not the same all the time. And about 20 years ago, a group of academics from Stanford University in New York, the business school, they studied groups of business people, business teams for over a very long time. I think they studied nearly 1,000. There was 800 and something. And they over a long period of time, and they watched these teams and saw what they did when they came to a problem, when they came to a wall, they couldn't solve the project that they were doing. And what they found was 93% of those business groups, when they got to a wall, would either do more of the same thing or less of the same thing. Either way, they did the same thing. Only 3% of them stopped and started with a new idea, started with something different. And they were the ones that were successful. And that is how progress happens. It happens at the 3%. Where people stop and say, "This isn't working. Let's stop doing more of what's not working, or let's stop doing less of what's not working. Let us do something different. Let us stop and see if there is a different solution that no one has thought of." Now, many years ago, this is old hat to you, but many years ago, computer shops had shops. And then one of them decided, let's have a shop without a shop. And so Dell was born, the computer shop without a shop. And they saved millions of dollars on shops. It was all just done online. The products were crap, but it was a brilliant business idea, and it survived, and it was succeeded for a very long time despite the products. And that's been a model that a lot of other businesses have taken up. And another, in London, if you want to be a London taxi, you have to learn what they call the knowledge. You have to know every single street in London. And those who are committed to being a taxi in London will spend up to 10 years cycling around the streets of London and learning every street. And then they are tested. And they're asked, if you want to go from X to Y, and there's roadworks here, and there's a one, and there's whatever, there's all sorts of things happening. How do you get there? It's a very, very difficult exam to sit and succeed in. And it's becoming more difficult. 200 years ago, the streets of London, there was less complication, but now there's more streets, there's more roadworks, there's more buildings being put up, there's more stations and bus stops to start at and stop at. And so it's becoming very difficult now to get drivers to be London taxis. And so here was a problem. And so they decided, instead of doing more of the same thing, trying to get more drivers to learn the knowledge and find new ways of helping them learn the knowledge, let's find drivers who don't have the knowledge. Let's find drivers who don't actually know London. And it works. So what they now have in London is you have a choice. You can either Take a taxi where the driver has the knowledge, and if you're a stranger to London, don't know it that well, of course, you will take a driver who has the knowledge. They know where to go. But if you know where to go, if it's your patch and you know the route, you will hop in a different type of taxi where the driver doesn't necessarily know the way. And it's your job as the passenger to tell the taxi where to go. And they've found that a lot of people really enjoy this. They enjoy the experience of telling the driver where to go because you know all the little ins and outs and the back streets and whatever. And a lot of passengers are actually enjoying this new experience. And so they have come at the problem from a totally different angle. The answers have changed. And that is what is happening in this world right now. 97% of the world is trying to come at this problem, whatever we perceive it as, and everyone has a different perception of what the problem is. But whatever that problem is, we are using the same old answers. But as Einstein would suggest, the answers have changed. And we're still looking for peace. We're still looking for satisfaction in our lives. We're still looking for love and fulfillment and all of that. The same questions, but the answers are different. And people keep asking, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning or the answer to the meaning of life? As the Hitchhiker's Galaxy book suggested. And I'm going to suggest to you that the answer to the meaning of life, there is no answer. There is no answer to the meaning of life. Life itself is meaningless. There is no meaning. And the fact that life is meaningless is in itself meaningless. Now, I'm not saying life is worthless or that it is without meaning. I'm saying that life itself is meaningless. So let me explain. Let's choose a thing that we may have in our house. Let's say we have this beautiful crystal bowl, and we now our children are having a birthday party and their friends are coming around, and so we use this crystal bowl. We fill it up with lollies or sweets, whatever. And so in that moment, that beautiful crystal bowl is a sweets bowl. Fine. And when the party's over, we wash it, and we may have our adult friends around for dinner one evening, and so we use it for putting nuts in or chippies or whatever. So this bowl now becomes a nut bowl or a chippy bowl. It was a sweets bowl, it's now a chippy bowl. That's fine. And so we enjoy the friendship of our friends with this chippy bowl, crisps, whatever you call those fried slices of potato. And then we wash it, and then we need something to put fruit in to be on the bedside, on the side of in the kitchen. And so we put fruit in our bowl. And so the bowl becomes a fruit bowl. And while the bowl has fruit in it, we can't put sweets in it. While it has sweets in it, we cannot put nuts in it or chippies, crisps. And that is what life is. Life is the empty crystal bowl. And we fill it with what we think should go in it in that moment. Life is a struggle. Life is hard. People are hard to get on with. You can't trust anybody. So that becomes our meaning of life. That's what we put in this bowl. And while we have that in our bowl, there is no place for joy. There is no place for just fun and trust and acceptance. However, if we take out the hardship, the people are getting at me, life's not safe. If we take those out and we have an empty bowl and we then fill it with life is joyous, life is supportive, life is fun, then there's no room in that bowl for life is changing, life is difficult. See, life itself is the empty crystal bowl. What's in it, the meaning of life itself, is what we put in it. And whenever we put anything in it, whatever it is, good, bad, happy, sad, up, down, left, right, whatever we put in it, life is about having the best house on the street. Life is about being the best motorcyclist on the road. My life is about having wonderful children and having a happy family. Life is about this amazing career. Whatever we put in that bowl, if we put an amazing career in the bowl and fill it with career, then there is no space in that bowl for family. If we fill the bowl with family and busyness and doing everything for our children and our parents and all of those um, familial people and experiences, then there won't be much room for the job or being a great cyclist or being a whatever, an Olympic champion. There won't be room for those things. So the joy that we put into the bowl excludes non-joy. The non-joy we put in excludes joy. And if we are able to, in moments, just in moments, this is not a lifelong thing because it's not easy to maintain. In moments, let us just empty the bowl. Let us stop using the old answers that 90% of people have been using and that we have been using 97% of the time. Let us try doing the 3%. Just having no answer, having an empty bowl. And we're not throwing family out. We're not throwing occupation out. We're not throwing achievement and happiness and anything out. We're simply leaving the bowl empty and allowing the bowl to speak to us in this moment. And when we stop pushing the answers that we have always done 90% of the time, or thereabouts, if we start realizing that we have the same questions as Einstein did, but we may have different answers. But we will never find those different answers while our bowl is full of the old answers. We need to take the old answers out because they're not working. Because if you're listening to this video or watching this video, you will have questions and you'll be at the wall and wanting to know how to do things differently. And we're at the wall because we have stopped being open to new possibilities. We're like the London taxis. Let's be without the knowledge. Let's try just driving, but allowing God to move us, God to give us the direction of where to go, which street, which side street, which um, God, whatever we call that, which is bigger than us, the universe, the Great Spirit, the intuition, whatever word we give that, it is God. And I suggest that we just be in a moment with our empty crystal bowl, our life, and just be with the emptiness, be with the not knowing, be with the mystery. And it's not an easy thing to do. I understand this. I've experienced the not easy thing to do. I want to keep filling my bowl with life is about this and life is about that. However, the more we practice it, the more we just play with the idea that life is not worthless, obviously. It has a purpose, but your purpose is different from mine and different from his and different from hers and so on. And that's okay. We all have different purposes. We've all put different things in our bowls. But let us, for this moment, just empty the bowl. Allow the bowl to just be clean, beautiful, crystal, shining, and empty. And see what answers turn up without us being in the way. So that is our exercise for today, for tomorrow. In each moment as we go to sleep, visualize the empty crystal bowl and allow the answers to come through in the darkness from the mystery. And in the morning, there will be a new answer from the 3%. Or let us wake each morning with an empty crystal bowl, just asking, what is it that I can be, say, and do today? How can I serve in the greatest way and stay empty and allow the answer from the void? So that is my suggestion, your homework, your exercise for however long. And let us enjoy the not knowing the answers, for from the not knowing will the answers come. So thank you for listening and bless every one of you.